Hello students, today we are going to discuss a new topic called relational algebra. This is a 8th chapter in your prescribed textbook. So far we have discussed RDBMS language called SQL. It is actually the practical language for the relational model. Historically, the relational algebra and relational calculus were developed before SQL language. SQL is primarily based on the concept from relational calculus, and also it incorporates some of the concepts from the relational algebra as well. So the basic set of operations for the former relational model is the relational algebra. These operations enable a user to specify basic retrieval request as relational algebra expressions. The result of the retrieval query is a new relation. The algebra operation thus produce new relations which can be further manipulated using operations of some algebra. A sequence of relational algebra operations forms a relational algebra expressions whose result will also be a relation that represent the results of the database query or retrieval request. So relational query languages. Basically, we have here the query languages to interact with the database management system. So when I say relational query language, it are the languages for describing queries on the relational database. There are two types of query languages. One is procedural query language and non-procedural query language. Procedural query language. Procedural query language, when I say procedural query language, database management system must have a query language so that the user can access the data stored in the database. Right? We need some type of language so that we can access the data from the database. Relational algebra is considered as a procedural query language where the user tells the systems to carry out a set of operations to obtain the desired result. That is, the user tells what data should be retrieved from the database and how it has to be retrieved. Okay. So procedural means here actually it will tell what data. Okay. It will tell what data need to be here. Relational algebra is a procedural query language. Why it is procedural query language? It will give step-by-step instruction. Okay. It will give the step-by-step instruction how the data need to be accessed. That is procedural. Okay. So you remember that procedural means it will tell what data has to be accessed and how it has to be accessed. So relational algebra is an intermediate query language used within the DBMS. Okay. It is an intermediate language used within the DBMS. Whereas we have a non-procedural language that is called structured query language, or we can call it as in short SQL. So structured query language is a predominant application level query language. Okay, and it is declarative in nature. When I say declarative in nature, here non-procedural means a language that allows the user to state what data is needed rather than how it is to be retrieved. Okay, what data is needed, it will be declarative. It is declarative means it tells what data we have to fetch from the database. Okay, what data we have to fetch from the database, but it will not tell, okay, or it will not suggest how it has to be retrieved. Okay, how it has to be retrieved. That is the main difference between the non-procedural language and procedural language. So procedural means it tells what and how, what data need to be retrieved and how it has to be retrieved. Okay, what and how. This is about the what and how. What and how. This is about the procedural language. Declarative means it tells what data need to be, okay, what data need to be accessed from the database, but it will not say how it has to be retrieved. Okay, so relational query language, we have the relational query language is a language for describing queries on the relational database. Okay, we have two types of query language, procedural and non-procedural. Procedural is nothing but relational algebra. It tells what data to be accessed and how it has to be accessed. And we have another query language called non-procedural, okay, which is declarative in nature. So when I say declarative, it tells only the language will tell what data need to be accessed from the database, but it will not include the code how to access it. Okay, how to access it, that will not be there. That instruction will not be there in the declarative query language. So next we move on to the relational algebra in the DBMS. What is the role of relational algebra in the DBMS? So it is relational algebra is basically used in the design of transaction and forms the conceptual basis for SQL. It consists of operators and manipulators. Okay, it consists of operators and manipulators which apply to relation and give relation as a result. The output will also be in the form of a relation, but do not change the actual relation in the database. So as I told, relational algebra is a procedural intermediate language used within the DBMS. So here, how actually, what is the role of relational algebra in the DBMS? Okay, what is the role of relational algebra in the DBMS? That is actually depicted in this diagram. So first we will give the SQL query as the input to the parser. What is parser? Parser can be a compiler or interpreter, any of this which accept the SQL query. So we are passing the SQL query as an input. So by that you can see that this parser is generating the relational algebra expression. So that's the reason we are calling this relational algebra as an intermediate query language. That means whenever we write a SQL query, this SQL query acts as a background. Okay, this SQL query acts as a background. A relational algebra acts as a background for the SQL query. So we can say relational algebra is a family of algebras with a well-formed semantics used for modeling the data stored in the relational databases and defining queries on it. Actually, relational algebra provides a theoretical foundation for relational database. Actually, we don't have any implementation for that. It is just provides the theoretical foundations for relational databases. The relational algebra is actually a complete of mathematics, mathematical foundation. So the SQL query, that's why it is converted into a relational algebra expression. So how actually in the relational algebra have a role in the DBMS. That is all about this slide. So SQL query, we will give input to the parser. Parser can be a compiler or interpreter. The parser converts the provided in SQL query into a relational algebra expression. That means what? It will divide the SQL query into a subparts and it will convert into a relational algebra expression. As I told, relational algebra is actually operators and manipulators. Okay, it is operators and manipulators. And this relational algebra expression is converted into a optimized relational algebra expression that is again converted into a query expression plan. Okay, query expression plan. This job is done by a software or tool called Query Optimizer, or a component in the DBMS called Query Optimizer. Okay, what the Query Optimizer will do, what are the redundant code is there, okay, redundant piece of data is there, it will reduce it and it will make more performance wise and all, it is more efficient. Okay, more faster. Okay, execution for more faster execution of the code. It will actually compress. Okay, compress the code without missing the actual essence. Okay, so relational algebra expression is converted to optimized expression, and it will be finally converted to query execution plan, which will be like tree like structure. Okay, so this will actually be passed to a code generator. Okay, so this optimization work is done by the query optimizer component in the DBMS software. So we have a code generator. Code generator will execute the finally generated object code. Okay, it will execute the query execution plan and it will generate the executable code. So these are the things which are there in the DBMS. We have a parser in the DBMS, we have a query optimizer in the DBMS, we have a code generator in the DBMS. So user is giving the SQL query as an input, okay, and finally that is converted into the executable code, okay, and this executable code will be reflected on our actual stored databases, and the requested data will be fetched. So in behind that, there is a, whenever we give the SQL query to the DBMS, actually this SQL query will be converted to a mathematical expression in the form of a relational algebra, that is in terms of operators and manipulators. Okay, that's what this diagram is depicting. So there are actually, the relational algebra is very important for several reasons. I'll tell you some of the reasons why it is important. First, it provides a formal foundation for relational model operation. I repeat, it provides a formal foundation for relational model operation. Second one, it is used as a basis for implementing and optimizing queries in the query processing and optimization model, okay, modules that are integral part of the relational database management system. Once again, I repeat, it is used as a basis. Okay, it is used as a basis for implementing and optimizing queries in the query processing and optimization modules that are integral part of relational database management system, which we called as RDBMS. Okay. The third reason why our relational algebra is important is some of its concept is incorporated into the SQL standard. Okay, some of its concept, whatever we say select from, then we have set operations. Okay, we have a select clause, we have a from clause. Okay, all these are actually incorporated from the, okay, all these concepts are of relational algebra are incorporated into a standard SQL query language for RDBMS. Okay, although most commercial RDBMS in use today do not provide user interface for relational algebra queries, the core operations and functions in the internal modules of most relational systems are based on relational algebra operations. Now we are moving from SQL to NoSQL era. Okay, we are moving from SQL to NoSQL era. Okay, in there like that, the movement will be there, but here the conversion or transformation will be there. Transformation will be there, but here the SQL is actually based on the relational algebra operations. Okay, the concept are incorporated. Relational algebra actually is not implemented. Okay, SQL is, we are implementing using the SQL, but the concepts are incorporated. Relational algebra concepts are incorporated into a SQL query standard. Okay, SQL Standard Query Language for especially RDBMS. Okay, Relational Database Management System. That's why it is also called as relational algebra. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so here relational algebra defines what? A set of operations for the relational model. Okay, that is actually the main thing here. It will define why, what is the role of relational algebra here. The relational algebra is actually theoretical basis, okay, but it defines the set of operations for the relational model. This you have to remember. It defines the set of it defines the set of operations for relational model. That is the main concept you have to understand. Okay, so it provides as a basis for the relational database. Okay, relational algebra acts like a basis for the relational databases. So some of the concept, some of the operations we are incorporated into our structured query language, that is SQL or SQL. Okay. So the relational algebra is often considered to be an integral part of the relational data model. The operations can be divided into two groups that we can see in the coming slides. So as I told, relational algebra is a procedural language. When I say procedural language, it is nothing but it gives us step-by-step instruction. It gives the compiler or the parser the step-by-step instruction what data has to be fetched and how the data has to be fetched. Okay, and it consists of set of operations. It consists of set of operations. It consists of set of operations which takes one or two relation as input and produce the relation as output. The output will also be a relation in the form of a relation itself. Yes or no? So as I told, we have basically the operations in the relation algebra are divided into two groups. Okay, two groups. I just write RA. RA means here relational algebra. Relational algebra operation. Okay, operations are divided into two groups. I just write like this. Two groups. Okay. So one group includes set operations from mathematical set theory. We have set operations. First groups include set operation, which is basically from the concept of set theory. Okay. And another group includes operation that is developed specifically for the relational databases. Okay, like select, that is, okay, select, as I told you, no, we have select, project, join. Okay, select, I'll tell you what each operators will discuss with an example. Okay, project, this is project. Then we have join. Okay, these are another set of operators. Join, like this. Okay, so we have relational algebra operations we have into two groups. One is set operations based on the concept of set theory. Another group is some of the operations developed specifically for relational algebra. Okay, that like select, project, join. Okay, and we have some other operations like aggregate functions and all. We will be seeing in detail in the coming slides. Okay, so here there are 6 basic operators in relational algebra. So here relational algebra we are defining in terms of operators or operations. Okay, so select, every operations here we have a symbol represented for that. That is what it is shown here. Okay, we have a symbol for every operations. So these are the symbols that we use. So relational algebra is written using the symbol. So that are used. So we have basically two types of operator. One is unary operator and another is binary operator. Okay, unary operator and binary operator. So basically there are 6 basic operators are 6. But other than this, we also have some, many other operator. So here we have 6 operator. Select, which is used using the sigma. Select operator, which is the symbol is sigma. Okay. Then we have project, which is using the symbol called pi. Okay, pi. We have a symbol for using this project operation, that is pi. Rename, whenever we want to rename the relation name or the attribute name, we can use the rename symbol called row. Okay, row, this we called as a row. Okay, so row, this is pi, this is sigma, sigma, pi, row. And whenever we want to perform the set operation, what are set operation? Union, intersection, and we have set difference or minus. So union operation we use union this, okay. Intersection we use this, and set difference we use minus symbol. Then we have a Cartesian product. Cartesian product, it is just joining two relation without any condition. Okay, without any condition. That is, we just use cross symbol. Okay, cross symbol. So these are the some of the basic operators we have in the relational algebra, which we will be discussing in detail in the coming slides. The operators takes one or more relations as input and produce a new relation as a result. So one thing you have to remember here that we will be applying the operators on one relation or more than one relation, and whatever the result we get after applying the operators on the relation, the result will also be in the form of a relation only. When I say relation, it is informally we call it as a table of values. Okay, informally we call it as a table of values. Okay, so this is, here is the broad this slides actually shows what are the operators that are available in relational algebra. Okay, so kindly take down this, it will be very helpful. Okay, relational algebra operators. So we have basically two types of operator. One is basic operators and another is extended or derived operators. Okay, relational algebra operators are divided into two categories. One is basic operators, another is extended or derived operators. In the basic operators, again we have two categories. One is unary operator. Okay, one is unary operator, and another is, we have unary operator, another is binary operator. Okay, unary operator, binary operator. So under unary operator means what? The operators which we can apply on a single relation. Okay, that we can apply on a single relation. Binary operators means what? The operators which we apply on a two or more relation. Okay, two relation, basically two. Binary means what? Two. So that operators which you apply on a two relation. Okay, so two relation. Unary means single relation. So what are unary operator? Project operator or projection operator, select or selection operator. Okay, then rename operator. Okay, project, select and rename. What is the symbol for project? Pi. Okay, please remember this. What is the symbol for project operator? Pi. So when we are writing the relational algebra queries, okay, as we write the SQL queries, here also we will be writing the relational algebra queries. The queries has to be written using the symbols. That's why I'm telling these symbols are very important. You should remember. So project operator, we use the pi. Selection operator, we use sigma symbol. Okay, sigma symbol like this. Okay, and rename operator, we use the symbol row. Okay, row. So binary operators, we have union, set operations. Okay, set operators like union, intersection, and set difference. Okay, these are the binary operator, because when we want to perform a union operation, we need a minimum two sets, right? Okay, whenever we are performing the union operation on the sets, we need minimum two sets. So here also we need two relations to perform the union operations on the relation. So binary, that's why it is coming under binary operators. So union, intersection, minus, these are the set operations. Okay, set operations. Then we have cross product. So whenever we want to join two relation, okay, whenever we want to merge, okay, join two relation without any condition, then we have the cross product, okay, cross product. So here I told minus set operations, okay. So next category is extended or derived operators. Extended or derived operators, it is join operation. Join operators are the operators that we apply on the two relations, okay, two relation by using a condition, okay, joining condition we say, by using a condition. That condition we call it as a joining condition, that we will see with an example in the coming slides, okay. Then we have here I told that we have the intersection here. Derived operator here, it is in the intersection. Okay, derived intersection is under the derived operator. Okay, intersection is union, intersection and minus are set operators. Okay, set operators. So union and minus are binary operators, whereas intersection is a derived operators. Okay, join, division, intersection are derived operators. So let us consider these relations, okay, these relations for our further explanation. So we have here member relation, book relation, and borrow relation. This is an example of library database. Let us take it as a library database. Okay, so we have three relations here: member, book, borrow. Okay, borrow. So please note this, because in the coming slides we will be discussing based on this relation only. Okay, the values, how to fetch the value from this relation. So we have a member relation, we have a book relation, and we have a borrow relation. Okay, borrow relation. So what are the attributes of member relation? Member ID, name, birth, date. What are the attributes of book relation? Book ID, name, author. What are the attributes of borrow? Member ID, book ID, borrow date, return date. So these are the contents. This is a complete relation, and this entire thing we can call it as a library database. Okay, library database. So member ID, member relation, member ID, name, birth date. Book relation, book ID, name, author. Borrow relation, member ID, book ID, borrow date, return date. So which member, which book, okay, on which date they have taken, and on which date they have returned. So this is the description about the description about the relation. Next we move on to our first operator, unary operator, that is project. So let us move on to our first binary operator, sorry, unary operator, that is projection, which we represent using a pi. Okay, we use a pi operator, pi symbol. I'll just take the pen. So we use the pi symbol to represent the projection operation. So what is actually projection? Okay, projection means we use to retrieve the columns of a relation. Whenever I want to retrieve the attribute values, okay, whenever I want to retrieve the attribute values from the relation, okay, I can go for the project operator. Okay, project operator by using the symbol pi. So projection is used to select the required columns of data from a relation. Okay, so it produces a table. Okay, as I told, whenever we apply the relational algebra operations, okay, on the relation, the result will also be a relation. Okay, the result will also be relation. It is same in the relational algebra also. It is same in the SQL also, because a relational algebra is incorporated, concepts are incorporated into the SQL. So the output will be always a table. So it produces a table containing subset of columns of argument table. So what is the syntax for project operation? Okay, or projection operation. What is the syntax? We use the pi symbol. Okay, and we have to write the attribute list. So project means what? Basically, we are retrieving the columns from the relation. Okay, columns from the relation. So which all columns I have to retrieve? that I am writing here, that attribute list. And in the then I am just writing the relation name. It can be in the bracket or without the bracket. Okay, I can just write without bracket or with bracket, no issues. So, but I have to write like this, pi. Say for example, I have a student relation. The student relation is having a name, USN, semester, phone number, address. Okay, student relation is I have name, semester, phone number, address. Like that, I have a set of attributes. I have to retrieve name and USN number of the student relation. Okay, so how I write by name? Okay, name. Then I want USN. So I just write USN, comma, because I have more than one attribute. Okay, name, if I would just want only one attribute, pi, name, and I can give the relation name. What is the relation name? Student. Okay, the relation name is student. You can write in uppercase. Okay, how you are defined the table. So student. So name, USN I want. So it will retrieve the values of the relation student and only the name and the name and the USN. Okay, USN values like this. Name A, USN 1. Name B, USN 2. Like this. It will retrieve the values. Okay, so this is about the projection operator. One more thing, very, very important thing about this projection operation is that it removes duplicate data tuples. It removes duplicate data tuples. Note that projection removes duplicate data tuples. Duplicate data tuples means what? There is suppose if I'm just giving USN, it cannot be same, right? Suppose instead of USN, I have just taken, okay, let me take the eraser and erase it. Here, instead of USN, I've just taken the semester. Okay, I've just taken the semester. So here, if I take semester, suppose I have, okay, in the student relation, I have columns like name, USN, semester, phone number, okay, phone number, address. In that, I want to fetch only the name and semester. So here I have a name and I have a semester, okay, semester. So here, suppose I have 5, okay, here also 5, and there is one more student called A with the same semester, in the same semester 5. So when I use the project operator, okay, whenever I use the project operator, it will remove the duplicate data. Okay, it will just remove the duplicate data. So A5, 2 times is there. Okay, A5, 2 times is there. That time it will just consider only A5 as 1. Okay, it will not consider the duplicate data. So it will take off the duplicate data. Okay, we'll get the result only this much. Hope you are understanding, right? So let us take an example. I showed you the table, right? I showed you the relation in the previous slide. Okay, based on that, we'll take this query. Okay, in the terms of a projection. Okay, in terms of a relational algebra operation. So member IDs of members who have borrowed books. Retrieve the member IDs of the member who have borrowed books. Okay, what is the query? I'm asking. Retrieve the member IDs of member who have borrowed books. So here we have the member relation. In that we have a member. What is it is asking? Retrieve the member ID of members who have borrowed books. Okay, who have borrowed books. So who have borrowed books? Here only the details of the member is there. Here only the details of the book is there. But here the details of the member who have borrowed the books is there. Yes or no? Borrowed the books is there. Then I have to go for this table actually, right? Borrow book. So member ID, book ID, borrow date, return date. So I am interested in only retrieving the member ID, right? Member ID. So when I want to retrieve the attribute values or column values from the relation, which operator I have to go? I have to go for the projection, right? Okay. So here member ID. So pi member ID borrow. Are you getting the question? Why I didn't go for the members relation? I didn't go for the members relation because it is asked here who have borrowed the books. Yes or no? Who have borrowed the books. So I'll go for the borrow relation. So how to fetch the member ID column? We have to use the project operation, right? Project operator. So here project operator pi. Okay, which column I have to fetch? Member ID, because it is asked to retrieve the member ID. So member ID from the table or the relation called borrow. Okay, the result will be in the form of a relation itself, right? When I say relation, it is a table of values. So column header and followed by set of values. Hope it is clear for you. So one more example I have. Retrieve member IDs of members and book IDs of books. They have borrowed books. Retrieve member IDs of members and book IDs of books. They have borrowed. Okay, the members have borrowed books. They have borrowed books. How we can do this? Here pi, because it is asked member ID as well as book IDs. So pi, that is project operator. So member ID comma book ID from which table? Borrow table. So this will be the output. The output again is in the form of a relation. Yes or no? Okay, relation, that is table of values. Hope it is clear for you. Okay. Next, we move on to another type of operations called selection operation. Okay, selection operation. Selection operation is represented using a symbol called rho, sigma. Okay, the symbol called sigma. So here I just take the pen. Yeah, it is represented using a symbol called sigma. What is select operation? You just remember, select operation is used to retrieve the tuples from the relation. Okay, select operation is used to retrieve the tuples from the relation. So whenever we have to retrieve the tuples from the relation, what we have to do? We have to give the condition. Okay, we have to give the condition. So what is the symbol we use to perform the selection operation? That is sigma. Okay, sigma. We have to write like this, sigma. So selection is used to select the required tuples of data from the relation. Okay, required tuples of data from the relation. Okay, so what actually it does? It produces a table containing subset of rows of argument table satisfying the condition. Because whenever I want to select the tuples or a records, there should be some the condition need to be satisfied, right? So this is the syntax. General syntax for selection operation is this one. So what is this? Row, condition, relation, name. Okay, row, sigma. Okay, sigma, the selection condition. This we called as a selection condition followed by the relation name. So here during selection we can specify certain condition that data must satisfy. Okay, data must satisfy. So here we have retrieve the details of member who were born on 21/10/1997. Retrieve the details of members who were born on so and so date of birth. Okay, so how we can do? So retrieve the members who have born. The condition is given. Okay, that condition is given. Date of birth is equal to so and so. So that condition. So we should not retrieve all the values. In the project, what we are using, we are selecting only the attribute, but all the attribute values in all the values of that particular attribute in a relation was fetching. Okay, if there is a 10 attribute values, all 10 were fetched. Okay, only that column. Okay, whereas here I want the tuples. I want all the relation, every attribute I want. Okay, but I want only a selected tuple. Okay, selected tuple. So I just go for, okay, so select a tuple. So what I do here, hope you are understanding what I'm saying. So project operator means what? If I have an attribute like A1, A2, this is A2, A3, attribute 3, attribute 1, attribute 2, attribute 3, attribute 4. Okay, attribute 4. So let us say I have tuples like tuple 1, tuple 2, tuple 3, tuple 4, like that. So attribute 1, attribute 2. This is a relation. Okay, this is a relation. I'll take different color. It will be very, yeah. This is a relation. Okay, this is a relation which is a combination of rows and columns, right? Rows and columns. So attribute 1, attribute 2, attribute 3, attribute 4. So I have 4 attributes here and 2 tuples. Okay, so this is entire thing we called as a relation. The project will select only the column. Okay, project will select only the column, but select will select only the tuples. So when we select the tuple, we get all the set of attributes. Okay, all attributes will get. So here, sigma date of birth. I have given the column name as date of birth, right? Date of birth is equal to. So we will give, if it is a character, we will can give in a single quote. So 21/10/1997. That format we have, and the table name like this we will give. Okay. So select the, suppose if I have retrieve the details of member whose name is John. Okay, whose name is John. Then how I can write here sigma. Okay, name is equal to in the single quote John. Okay, member. Like that I can just give the relational algebra expression. This we called as a expression, relational algebra expression. So some of the selection conditions, since we have a condition in the select operator, so what are the selection condition? How the selection condition will be? Okay, selection condition will be written using the operator. Whenever we say condition, okay, condition will be of the format attribute followed by operator followed by a constant or a attribute itself. Okay, so simple selection condition. Simple selection condition will be attribute operator constant or attribute operator attribute itself. Okay, attribute itself. So when I say operator, we have relational operator, less than, equal to, greater than, equal to, greater than, equal to, not equal to. These are the operators or the relational operator that we use in the selection condition. What is the syntax? Okay, what is the syntax we use the selection condition? So attribute operator constant, attribute operator operator attribute itself. So the condition can be, there can be more than one condition in the selection condition. Okay, there can be more than one condition. So condition and condition, condition or condition, not condition. So we can give, well, we can combine two or more conditions using operators like and or, okay, and not condition. Is it clear? Okay, and or not condition. Hope it is clear for you. Okay, so you are understanding. So here, what is this simple selection condition? So attribute, okay, attribute operator constant. When I say attribute operator constant, just now I told you name is equal to John. 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 So I just write John. J-O-H-N. Name is equal to John. What actually this condition? This condition is nothing but name of the attribute. Name is nothing but the name of the attribute. Second one is operator. This is operator, right? Operator is equal. Operator can be less than, equal to, greater than, equal to, not equal to, like that. Okay, then it is constant. Constant, it can be like age is equal to 25. Age is equal to 25. Like this, I can give this. This is a constant value. Okay, this is a constant value. I can compare the attribute operator with attribute. Okay, attribute operator with the attribute only. Okay, so attribute with the attribute only, that condition. So whenever if you have a selection condition, more than one condition, you can just combine the conditions with and operator or operator if you just want the negation of that, not condition. Okay, not condition. Next, we move on to another some examples of this. Yeah, you can see here selection condition. Let us take one relation called person. Okay, person with the following attribute: ID, name, address, hobby, and with the set of tuples. Okay, tuples. So here we are just representing what is the hobby of this each person. Okay, so now if I ask you the select, see here we are using the condition, more than one condition with the operator, comparison operator, right? Okay, sigma, whose ID is greater than 3000. Okay, select the ID. Okay, select the details of a person. Select the details of the person whose ID is greater than 3000 or their hobby is hiking. Okay, so when we give like this, ID greater than 3000 or hobby is equal to hiking from person. So it will select which who will be selected. ID is this or hiking. So this two person will be selected. ID is greater than 3000 and ID is less than 399. ID is greater than 3000 and ID is less than 399. So nothing will be selected because all ID is okay, ID is greater than 3000 and ID is less than 399. That means 3000 and it should be within 3000 and 3999. Nothing is there. So no row selected. No row selected. Not hobby is equal to hiking. Not hobby is hiking means what? Except the person who is hobbying hiking, everything will be selected. So this one, this. Okay. So that will be selected. So here when I use project, okay, duplicate values will be selected. Duplicate values will be ignored. Okay, eliminated. But in the case of selection, it is not. Then next we have hobby. Okay, hobby is not equal to hiking. Okay, the same. It is not. Okay, hobby is equal to hiking. Here hobby is not equal to hiking. It's one and the same. These are the some of the way we can use the OR operator. Expression, when I say expression, this is a complete relational algebra expression. That is, we are selecting like we have a retrieve. Okay, retrieve the ID and name of a person who have either hobby of collecting the stamp or coins. Okay, retrieve the name and ID of a person who have either stamp collecting or collecting coins hobby, who have hobby of collecting the stamp or coins. Okay, stamp or coins, stamp and coins, not stamp and coins, either stamp or coins. So how we can write? First we have to select, right? Select hobby is equal to stamp or hobby is equal to coins. From which table? Person relation, right? In that person relation, I have to fetch only the ID and name. So I just go for the project ID name. Hope you are understanding. So what we are doing first? First we are writing the, okay, we are writing the project operation. Okay, we are writing the project operation, right? We are writing the, sorry, first we are writing the selection operation. So here selection operation. So what is the condition we are giving here? What is the query asked for you? Retrieve the ID and name of a person who either have the hobby of collecting stamps or coins, right? So first we have to select the person who have the hobby of collecting stamps or coins. So if you observe here, we have the person John who is having the hobby of collecting stamp and he is also having the hobby of collecting coins. Why I am telling he is also having the hobby of collecting coins? Because their ID is same, right? Their ID is same. So first I'll write the selection condition expression, right? So I write and I'll put this condition on the relation called person. So what happens here? I'll get the intermediate result as like this. Okay, I'll get the intermediate result like this. Okay, person, this is a person relation, so I'll get the intermediate relation like this. Okay, but I have to actually fetch only the ID and the name, right? So I just apply project operation on the result of this selection operation. Okay, I will apply project operation on the result of this selection operation. So when I apply project operation, I'm selecting only ID and name attribute, right? I'm selecting only the ID and name attribute. Okay, can you see here? I'm drawing here ID and name attribute. So that is actually the result after my this entire relational algebra expression. ID name. So ID 1123 John. Okay, here also we have he is also collecting the stamp. Then 9876 baht. So 1123 John, okay, 1123 John, two things will come. So what the project operator will do? Project operator will actually eliminate the duplicate values. So 1123 John, 1123 John, then 9876 stamp will come. Okay, 9876 BART will come. So 1123 John, 1123 John is actually a is actually a duplicate. So it will eliminate. These are the two values we'll get as a output. Okay, so here also stamp is there. I didn't observe that. Clear? Okay, fine. So this is about our expressions. So rename. Renaming means what? Actually, whenever we want to rename our relation name or attribute name, we can go for an operator called pi. Row. Okay, we can go for an operator called row. Okay, so rename operation allows renaming a certain output relations. Okay, so say for example, here query rename the member relation as library member. Rename the member relation as library member. Okay, actually rename is having a very important role. So whenever we are joining, okay, joining two relations, that is derived attribute. Whenever we use the derived attribute, so based on some attribute names, we have to join. Okay, we use one type of join called natural join. So if two relation have same attribute name, based on that attribute name, it will get joined. Okay. So in such situations, if I want to just rename, there and all, the role of the rename is a rename operator comes. Okay. So here what is asked? Rename the member relation as library member. So I just use row library member, new relation name. Okay. New relation name and the existing relation name. So if I write like this, so the member relation name will be converted to, okay, the member relation name will be converted to library member. Okay, this is row. We used to row symbol. Okay, row operator or rename operator. We used to rename the name of a relation. So renaming is having other type of other ways also we can use renaming, not only using the row operator. Okay, not only using the row operator, we can just give the intermediate names for the relation. So attributes can optionally be renamed in the resulting relation. Attributes can be optionally renamed in the resulting relation. Resulting relation means what? Say for example, here you can see here I applied this expression on the, okay, on the what a person relation. Person relation is the actual relation which is there in the database. Okay, person relation, this data I have inserted into the database. Okay, this data. After applying this relational algebra expression, I am getting this result. Okay, so this relation, I am getting the output as a relation. This relation I have to give some name. That name I'll give as a result. Okay, result. So what I'll do here, I will give one intermediate name. I will rename. Okay, I will rename this result. Okay, I currently I don't have any name. Okay, here I have given result. I'll tell you. Currently I have not given any name. Okay, so what I'll do, I can just give the one name to this result. Okay, name to this output. What is the name I'll give? Result. Okay, result. Is it clear? Okay, I'll give the name as result. Are you understanding? So when I perform this operation, okay, on a person table, okay, I'll get one output. Okay, I'll get the output. That output I can give as a give a name. Okay, give a name. That name is a, what name I given? Result. This is the name of this relation now, output relation. This output relation name I can use for further queries. Okay, for further queries. So I'll show you there in that. Okay, that's what here. See, there is a, consider there is an employee table. Okay, employee table. Employee table is having one attribute called D number. In that it is having a value called I. 5. Okay, so what we are doing here, we are selecting the employees who are working in the department number 5. Okay, we are selecting the employees. Sigma means what? Selecting the tuples. We are selecting the employees who are working in the department number 5. So we will get the output as, okay, what output we'll get? We'll get the output like, we'll get the output like D number, okay, D number, and the employees, all the employees. So we'll get the output like this: name of the employee, SSN of the employee, okay, phone number of the employee, okay. Then we have the D number attribute also, okay, D number attribute also. We have got this relation, okay. We have got this relation where all the employees will be in the department number 5 only. Okay, so now I have to give this output relation one name. What is the name I have given? DEPT. Okay, intermediate output. Okay, this is the output. So DEPT 5. DEPT 5. I'll give DEPT 5. DEPT 5. So this is my the output of this query. I'm giving one name. Okay, output of this query. I'm giving the name DEPT 5. Okay, this DEPT 5 I'll use for another query. So T of first name, comma last name, comma salary. Okay, this is the another symbol for renaming. Okay, this is the another symbol for renaming. So whenever I want to rename the relation, I just use a row symbol. Okay, I just use the row symbol. Okay, row symbol. I just use the row symbol. Another way to give the name for the intermediate output relation, I just can use this symbol. Okay, I can use this symbol, that is left arrow. Okay, left arrow. So what I am doing here, pi of first name, last name, salary. This is actually the attribute of a this here, first name. Okay, first name, F name. Okay, F name, first name. Here first name, then last name. Okay, salary. Okay, first name, last name, salary, and department 5. So out of these 4 attributes, I want to select only the first 3 attributes: first name, last name, and salary from the department 5 relation, which is that it is actually intermediate output. Okay, output relation. So I'm just selecting only 3 attributes, and these 3 attributes I want to rename. In the actual output, I have to just display first name as first name completely, last name as last name full. Okay, salary like this. I am renaming the attribute like this, and I'm just giving that result. Okay, this result, this is one operation again. This result as the name. Okay, this table with this attribute will be having the output will be having the name T. Okay, so like this also I can just go for alternate notation. Okay, rename attributes and or a table. Okay, what I am doing here, R of first name, last name, salary, pi first name, last name, salary, department. What I am giving the result here, I just gave T here, no? So the result, okay, whatever I get the result from this project operation, okay, the result which I get from the project operation, I'm giving the that relation name as R, and the attribute names are first name, last name, salary instead of FNAME, LNAME, salary respectively. Okay, so I'm giving the name FNAME as first name, LNAME as last name, okay, and salary as salary, and the relation name, the output. Okay, the output will be getting now for this expression. That output name we are giving the name as R. Okay, so I'm just renaming using the row. Okay, here I'm using row. Otherwise, I can use this symbol also. Okay, hope it is clear for you. Okay, so this is renaming. In the next slide, we have Cartesian product. Okay, this I'll explain, and other things we'll discuss in the next class. So Cartesian product. Cartesian product is nothing but it is a binary operation. Okay, it is a binary operation. So whenever we have to join 2 or more relation, we can go for the Cartesian product. So let us consider if R and S are 2 relations. Okay, R is one relation, S is another relation. R cross S, Cartesian product, or another name for this Cartesian product we called as cross product. Okay, R cross S, cross product. Remember, Cartesian product or cross product. R cross S is the set of all concatenated tuples x, y, where x is a tuple of R and y is a tuple of S. So R and S need not to be union compatible. I tell you what is union compatible when I discuss the set theory. Okay, R and S is expensive to compute. So here, why I'm telling it is expensive? See here, we have a R relation with the attribute A and B, and we have the relation S with the attribute C and D. Okay, when I say R cross S, okay, when I say R cross S, what happens here? The each and every tuple of R will be combined with every tuple of, okay, each tuple of R will be combined with every tuple of, okay, every tuple of S. Okay, so this is one tuple, right? Tuple 1. This is one tuple and this is tuple 2 of relation R. Okay, relation R. This is the tuple of relation S and this is another tuple of relation S. Okay, what happens? The tuple 1 will be combined with tuple 1 and the tuple 1 also combined with tuple 2 of S. Okay, tuple 2 of R will be combined with tuple 1 of S. Tuple 2 of R will be combined with tuple 2 of S. Okay, like this. What happens here? Finally, I'll get this much. Okay, so how many total attributes are there in R and S? 2 plus 2. Okay, 2 plus 2. How much I'll get? 4. Resultant will be having 4. Okay, and how many total tuples I will get? Okay, total how many tuples? Here 2, here 2. 2 into 2. 2 into 2 is again 4. Okay, here let's say there is n number of attributes in R and m number of attribute in S. Okay, n number of attribute in R, m number of attribute in S. So n plus m will be the number of attributes in resultant relation, and let us say there is x number of tuples in R and y number of tuples in S. Then we have x into, okay, x into y number of tuples. This is plus attribute. X into, okay, x into y number of tuples in the resultant values. So 2 into 2, 4. Okay, 2 into 2, 4. So that's why we say here it is having, cross product is having. Suppose if I take the member, okay, member, if I take the example of member library thing, okay, cross product. See, cross product is used to combine data from two different relations into one combined relation. If we consider A with n tuples and B with m tuples, A cross B will consist of n into m tuples. So cross product or Cartesian product. So member into borrow. If we combine two relation, member into borrow, note that member has a 5 tuples and borrow has 5 tuples. So member into borrow has 5 into 5, 25 tuples. I'll show you the result. Okay, this will be the output. So what is happening here? Member ID and member ID is matching here, but here member ID is not matching with this member ID. What is happening? Every member ID of every tuple of member is joined with, okay, every tuple of each tuple of borrow table. Okay, 1 1 1 3 1 3 1 4 1 5. But what is happening here? Here it is Alice, but is here the 3 is a member ID of Charlie. Okay, 1 3. It is showing a invalid tuple. Okay, I'll discuss this in the next class. Okay, but in the cross product, what we'll get? We get the invalid tuples. Okay, invalid tuples, because it is matching every tuple of one relation with each and every tuple of other relation. Okay, so we'll get, see, 5 into 5, 25 tuples we are getting. We are getting 25 tuples. Out of the only actually 5 tuples will be valid, but it is generating another 20 extra tuples. We'll discuss in detail with the join operation. There you will be clear about this cross product. Okay, cross product means what? Joining two relation. Okay, cross product means joining two relation.